Meats. A full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador is your go-to option when selling residential and commercial property. Offers unbelievable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
Attention Lincoln. Looking for an effective way to reach the fitness goals you haven't been able to accomplish on your own? Body Fitting science-based programming led by multiple highly accredited coaches who will help you get the results you're capable of. Their group of strength training classes are designed to help you build muscle, burn fat, and improve your overall fitness level. At BF Lincoln, you'll train like an athlete and be surrounded by motivated and like-minded individuals. For May only, get 1 week of classes for just $7 by visiting bodyfittraining.com.
Problem gambling affects more than the gambler. It affects spouses, children, extended family members, and friends. If you're struggling with addiction, Treatment Center's helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 476-2300.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
McMurphy has Nebraska in the Las Vegas. That would be incredible. That would be absolutely. Here's when the Vegas Bowl is. It's before Christmas. It is so easy to get to Las Vegas for Nebraska fans. There's now a direct flight from Lincoln via Redway, the new at Lincoln Airport. Omaha has direct flight. Grand Island has direct flights to Vegas.
It would be flooded with Nebraska.
It would be awesome.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning.
Tailored Life is now open in Bennett. Make the short drive down Highway 2 for tons of items at your home for both indoors and outdoors. Check out their variety of potted trees, shrubs, vines, perennials, and colorful annuals. Plus, porch pots and landscape lighting to enhance the outside of your home. Don't forget their home goods for indoors. Plus, snacks produced locally. Visit Tailored Life and stay tuned. Page Tailored Life for food truck events come up.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is home. If I softener or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Welcome to it. On the Block. Feels like you've been with you guys for a while already. Had a great crossover segment with Nick and Rico right there. Thanks to the guys for letting us chat with them. Some college baseball Husker headlines with them. We'll talk some more about that with Evan Bland coming up here in just a few minutes. But Strick, how's Dallas treating you?
Hot, sunny, muggy, all that good stuff. But we're on the block right now. It's an exciting day. A lot of stuff, a lot of information to be taken in, especially in what's going on in the NBA side of things. Got the NBA finals coming up on tomorrow, but we have some decisions that need to be made today. So that's a good thing.
Let's start with the Nebraska aspect of it. Keisei Tominaga, we still haven't heard. Yesterday, the Indiana Pacers posted a video, and Strick, as I was going back through their Twitter account, all these videos had 100, 200 likes on the high end. One guy, I think, ended up with 730 likes. And then you see the one with Keisei Tominaga in it. The interview they did with Keisei, which is about 2 minutes long, got 9,000 likes compared to 100 or 200 for these other players. It sounds like his workout with them went well. Robin Washut was saying that he's back in Lincoln talking with the coaching staff and that he won't announce his decision till tomorrow morning in Japan, which is a 14-hour difference, give or take. What do you think the decision is for Keisei Tominaga?
Well, I mean, the time difference kind of has some effect on what the decision has to be made. I mean, he's going to have to let them know. I think the deadline is by 10:59 tonight that they actually have to have already made that decision. So I venture to say that I think Tominaga has two options in the discussion. I think depending on and based on some of the reporting that he had some good workouts, and a lot of the people are going to be weighing whether or not defensively Keisei Tominaga has the ability at the next level with all the space and because when you look at the playoffs now, when you look at the playoffs and what's going on, Keisei Tominaga, you have to try to fit him into any of these teams and make a determination as to whether Keisei Tominaga has the ability or they even have the ability to mask and cover and protect him in ways. Like, for example, you can look at the Denver Nuggets and look at the way that they play. They have a masking defense that Coach Malone has set up for them to be able to protect their best player, which is Nikola Jokic, right? It's a form of the way that they do it is so phenomenal in that everyone moves in sync. They're syncopated in the way that they basically move in their rotation scheme to protect Nikola, right? So they would have to determine whether or not he's going to be siloed into strictly a shooting role where he comes in off the bench and he's able to fill it up, or they need some spacing, some guy in the corner, so forth and so on. How can we mask him if we decide to bring him in? Because they are going to find ways. Look at what Jimmy Butler and Miami did to the Boston Celtics in their final game. They ran sets that was going to take Boston to their defensive weaknesses. That's going to happen in the league. It may not happen early, but once the scouting report catches up with you, it's going to be so. So that's the thing they're going to have to weigh out for Keisei Tominaga. Now, then the next decision becomes, did he perform well enough, or is Japan to go ahead and go get the money, the iron's hot, or is that the next move? That's probably what some of those discussions are happening right there in Lincoln right now.
The other huge decision, I think, for the Big Ten, there's some that are down the list. Illinois has a couple in Terrence Shannon and Coleman Hawkins that would, I think, greatly impact how that team looks next year. Cliff Amori of Rutgers has just announced coming back. That's where I was going, Strick. That's the last one. Zach Edey. I think that's a very similar conversation to the one about Keisei Tominaga.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll ask you this question. Are the concerns about Zach Edey in the NBA more offensively, how limited he is, or defensively, how little he moves?
Well, let's just be honest about Zach Edey. Is the reigning AP National Player of the Year. He had a great season. He's a 7'4" big man, but he is purely an in-the-post big man. Slight touch, maybe out to 10 to 12 feet, but he's coming from an era that is a bygone era in the NBA where you had your strict post-up guys, you had your strict defensive guys, and like Mark Eaton, Dikembe Mutombo, you had your good balance guys in Alonzo Mourning, you had your good balance guys in Patrick Ewing, and we can continue to go down. There are guys that also have that now that are in the NBA that are still getting minutes in the NBA, and that would be like, for example, big fella that won the Defensive Player of the Year up in Minnesota. Gosh darn it, my mind's drawing a blank.
Oh, Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert. So you have some, Andre Drummond, guys like that. Rudy Gobert, Andre Drummond. Some of those guys are just strictly defensive guys that have limitations and so forth and so on. He is not Victor Wembanyama. He is not going to be. He is not in any form or fashion Nikola Jokic. And I don't think he's going to be, because I've seen a lot of weaknesses in that area. But yet, the young man is still 21. I mean, so right. we still forget the fact that Zach Edey is only 21 years old. He has still room to grow. I just don't think he'll be that full stretch guy. I think he could probably be a better passer as he continues to learn and grow. I don't know if he has the footwork to do that. And so a lot of questions that are coming out right now is probably, yes, we know what he did throughout the year. Yes, we know the success we had, but the Fairleigh Dickinson loss, is it bad? Is it a bad enough taste in the mouth of those who watched it? Or is it a bad enough taste in the mouth of Zach Edey that he would want to come back and do it, run it back and see if he can change that whole narrative? I just don't think that the narrative would change on Zach Edey. I think the narrative is going to be that this is who he is. And so I don't think it lands him in a high first round, or a team is going to waste a pick on Zach Edey at that position. He'll probably land in the second round.
And we've seen that, with some of the last, players of the year that have been big men. We talk about Edey. You look at Luka Garza when he got drafted. Yeah. In the G League for a while, and even Oscar Tshiebwe, who came back for another season, he's got a decision to make as well. Good stuff there. We'll probably keep talking about this as the show goes on, but we got to call Evan Bland, keep the Husker baseball conversation going. Who's that core for the Huskers next year? Where does he think some of the top guys get drafted? And reflecting on the season, how does he grade it out? We'll talk all that and more with Evan on the other side.
Nebraska's favorite vape shop,
Generation V,
providing friendly, personalized service and the largest selection of vaporizers and e-liquid flavors in the state.
Generation V.
Generation V will beat or match any local competitor's price. With a huge selection, great service, and the lowest prices, Generation V is your one-stop shop for all your vaping needs.
Generation V.
With 4 Lincoln locations, visit us on the web at generationv.com. E-cigs contain nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
May 1st through 31st, enroll your eligible smart thermostat in the LES Peak Rewards program. You'll earn participation incentives while helping to reduce electric usage. Learn more and sign up at les.com/peak rewards.
It's May, and that means the school year is almost over and summer road trips are on the horizon. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride. Summer road trips are just around the corner. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Problem gambling affects more than the gambler. It affects spouses, children, extended family members, and friends. If you are a loved one who's struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 476-2300.
Repeat after me. I will not touch the fuse box.
I will probably not touch the fuse box.
Sip, do you remember what happened last time?
Yeah, I remember.
What happened?
Half of the city block lost power.
And?
My chicken condo went haywire.
That's right. The chickens ran wild. So what do we do instead?
Call Joe at Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-217-3415, or online at ambitionelectric.com. Bagels and Joe is the perfect place for breakfast or lunch in May. Try their pesto cream cheese on any breakfast sandwich. And try the Karma Latte, as 10% of proceeds from that drink will go to the Teammates Mentoring Program. 4 locations in Lincoln and 1 in Seward. Bagels and Joe.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln.
Come work at Continental today.
Springtime is here, and it's time to get to work on outdoor projects. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams. From treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and TimberTech composite decking. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671. Go online at deckcityne.com or visit their new location just north of 33rd and Cornhusker Highway.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Allo is here to give you the FYI. Are your shows buffering? We know why. Are your games lagging? Don't deny. Are your work calls dropping? Here's the FYI. Your old school internet company can't keep up. They give it a try. Their network isn't enough. Don't get trapped in their gimmicks and lies. It's time to fiber your internet with Allo. Honest, local, and hassle-free is what we stand by. Experience Allo Internet. Visit allofiber.com/FYI.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
We'll see a slight chance of thunderstorms this afternoon. It will be another very warm day as we'll top out at 89. South winds at 10 to 15. A slight chance of thunderstorms tonight with a low down to 65. We will continue with a slight chance of thunderstorms tomorrow and stay warm with a high of 88. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on the block. I'm Austin Orman. Strick stepped out for just a second, but that's all right. We're going to keep the college baseball conversation going with one of our favorites here on the block, Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. Evan, a happy Wednesday to you and yours. How's it going today?
Hey, Austin, doing well. How's it going with you?
Things are great. Good weather outside. We're in the full swing of baseball season. Evan, I have to admit, I didn't get all that into college baseball till, I don't know, probably 3-4 years ago. Didn't really follow it growing up as a kid, but I don't know why. I don't know what I was doing. I missed out on a lot. We're getting into, regional time, and that's fun. Even conference tournaments are fun to follow, where you get a story like Tulane making the tournament. What was I missing? What was I doing?
I don't know. It's if you grew up in Omaha, like you have the College World Series as sort of your annual summer activity, and so I suppose you start following it a little bit more that way. It's an event that's definitely grown in the last 10 years. I mean, you think back, they didn't start televising the College World Series until the 90s, and then it's only been in the last 10 years or so that we've had full blanket coverage of regionals, and you can watch on ESPN every score, every kind of piece of action that goes on. So it's really taken off in terms of being able to be consumed, and there are 300 schools, and the chances are decent that there's probably one around you that's playing okay. So I wouldn't put too much blame on yourself. I think it's just a lot more easily accessible these days.
Fair enough. I would also say I was playing baseball in the summer a lot, so I didn't have as much time to sit down and watch it. So that's the excuse I'm going with. I appreciate you cutting me a little slack there. I want to start with your College World Series picks. I agree with a lot of them. Which of those 8 picks are you most confident in, and which one are you least confident in?
Well, I think part of the challenge is, I could go chalk and just kind of play it safe, but what I've tried to do Austin, when I make these picks is I'll go back over the last 10 years or so and try to look at the makeup of the field in terms of conference, in terms of seed, in terms of type of team that makes it. And oftentimes those trends continue. And so what the trends would tell you, first of all, is that roughly half of the field is going to be from the SEC. I think it's been 5 years in a row that you've had 3 or 4 College World Series participants being from that conference. So it's a pretty safe bet that half of that field is going to be from the SEC. And then the rest of it, you're probably going to get 1 or 2 from the Big 12. You're going to get 1 or 2 from the ACC. You're going to get probably 1, maybe 2 from the Pac-12. And that's kind of it. I mean, with the exception of Michigan from the Big 10 in 2019, there really hasn't been another conference that's been represented, I believe, since 2016. And so you're seeing teams that are more financially backed, teams that are from warmer weather climates continue to be in this thing. And so that's sort of where I start from. One of I'll give you my upset pick, first of all, and that was Arizona, a team that was one of the last 4 in. And one of the reasons I picked them was because there's been, we talk about like the 5-12 matchup in the basketball tournament, the NCAA basketball tournament. Well, there's been a 3 regional seed in the NCAA or in the College World Series in like 9 of the last 11 years. So the chances are good that somebody is going to break through. And history recently would tell you that profile of that team is going to be, it's from a power conference, probably a power name that had a little bit of a down season and got hot. And that, to me, described Arizona this year. So that they were sort of my outside the box pick. But, I think a lot of them were pretty straightforward. I mean, Wake Forest has legitimately been the number 1 team in the country for the second half of the season. They have the best pitching depth. LSU is familiar to anybody that follows the sport. They haven't been actually to Omaha since 2017, but they really retooled through the portal in the off season and have earned their chance to be a favorite. I actually filled out the rest of my SEC field with a couple of teams that are not hosting. There are 8 regional hosts from that conference, which is a record, but I picked the 2 teams that are hitting the road in Texas A&M and Tennessee. I just felt like those were 2 teams that had a lot of hype last year, that had a lot of experience last year, and they're just not going to be intimidated by going on the road and trying to win some regional games. So that would be some. And then I'll give you just one more. I thought Oklahoma State was one I probably struggled with the most, just because the Cowboys tend to fizzle in regional sort of settings. And I really was tempted to go with Dallas Baptist as an upset pick there. But I think the Cowboys, having not won the Big 12 regular season or tournament, maybe gives them a little bit more chip on their shoulders than they have typically this time of year. So that's my Big 12 rep. So, it could look terrible here in a couple of weeks, but at the very least, they're sort of informed based on history.
Well, if it looks terrible, welcome to every bracket in history. You will not be the first. You will surely not be the last. Any thought given to Maryland and Iowa? Do they have a 50% chance to make supers? Are they just kind of happy to be there? Where do you put the Big Ten team's chances this postseason?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's funny because Iowa was not the Big Ten champ. Maryland was, but I think pretty objectively, you got to like Iowa's road potentially more. I mean, they're at the Indiana State Regional, and that's a team that I think you can poke a lot of holes in their resume for hosting a regional in the first place. So you have a North Carolina, they play a North Carolina team right out of the chute that's without one of their best players in the Indiana State Regional. And if you come out of that thing, most likely you end up playing Arkansas. And as I think Nebraska fans have noted, that's a team that's not been unbeatable at Baum Walker over the last few years. And Iowa has pitching depth that can contend with about anybody. So if you're talking about a Big Ten team's path, I think Iowa's is actually pretty strong. If you're Maryland, I think you probably have some qualms. And again, this is reminiscent of Nebraska 21 when they ran away with the Big Ten and their reward was to go to the number 1 overall national seed at Arkansas. Well, Maryland's situation is similar, where they sweep the regular season and Big Ten tournament. And hey, here's your prize. You get to go to Wake Forest. That's been, like I mentioned, the deepest team, maybe the most balanced team in the country to this point. And if you somehow make it out of that, you get a 16 seed probably in Alabama that was underseeded, I think, based on its resume. So that's a really difficult draw. And then, Indiana gets in as a 3 seed as well. And they, I think we're pretty cold down the stretch. I don't know how far you can expect them to go. They're in that Kentucky regional, starting off against a really good West Virginia team, and then LSU is on the other side in the other regional. So, I would be shocked if the Hoosiers continued beyond maybe 3 games in the regional. So I think it's pretty clear if you're trying to pick a Big Ten team to do their best Michigan 2019 impression, it's got to be Iowa.
We're a couple weeks away from more baseball in Omaha. No Husker baseball, though, so we move on to the offseason. We know about Max Anderson. We know about Bryce Matthews. Emmett Olson, is he a top 10 round draft guy? Does he go? What's his stock been like this year for MLB teams?
Yeah, I think so. I think top 10 is a pretty safe bet for what I've heard and what scouts have maybe said about what he can do. I mean, he trained with Team USA last off season, and so he was somebody that's been on scouts' radar for a while. He's a left-hander, which always helps the stock. He's got a little bit more than what you might call kind of stock pitches. Like he has a curve and some sort of unique offerings maybe that add to what he can do too. So, we'll see how he does. He's someone who has a little leverage as a junior who could come back or who could go pro. I think when you talk about Nebraska and what it could look like in 24, it's him and it's Jace Kaminska are sort of the pivotal guys there where you say, well, I mean, they could both come back and they could continue to anchor that rotation for another season, or they could both leave and Nebraska would need to reset its Friday and Saturday starters. So I think where they go will inform their decision, and that'll of course inform what Nebraska does and the urgency with which it tries to replace its pitching moving into the offseason.
Let's start with the pitching. We were talking about that with Nick and Rico in our little crossover, just about the core. Who is the core of that pitching staff for Nebraska next year? I mean, you see Jake Buns enter the transfer portal, Corbin Hawkins retire. You're down Shanneman and Perry after long careers here. Olson's decision, Kaminska's decision. Who do you feel good about coming back for Nebraska next year right now?
Yeah, it's going to look a lot different. There's no doubt. I mean, say Olson and Kaminska move on, you've got Will Walsh, who's still around, who you would probably feel like has earned a spot in that rotation, especially coming off what he did in the Big Ten tournament last week. Drew Christo is somebody who's come along. He had big expectations coming out of high school. Maybe this is the time that he realizes some of that. Jackson Brockett has been a midweek and a weekend starter for them before, so he could step into a little bit of a bigger role there. But really, that's about it. I mean, anybody else that's currently on the roster is going to have to take a step forward. I mean, Caleb Clark has the ability, but he hasn't put it together consistently to this point. So that would be, I think, a big assumption to think that he would be ready before he shows that. And then, beyond that, it's going to be who do you bring in? You're going to count on some high school guys coming in. They've looked at a couple of junior college players as well. Undoubtedly, they'll look to the portal as they have the last couple of years with guys like Chance Roach and Dawson McCarville, and they added a couple of guys even this last season as well. So you figure they're going to go back to the portal there. But yeah, there's not sort of that next obvious wave of guys where you say, okay, they were decent in the midweek and now they're going to be weekend starters. So I think again, the portal is going to have to be a priority. It's a lot to ask a true freshman to come in and step into that weekend role. It can happen, but it's not something you probably want to bank on. And then just some of the players that I mentioned, if you can take another step forward, they can, be pretty decent contributors in that role. The problem is you just haven't seen it to this point. So I would say, yeah, there's a lot of work to be done to start feeling good about what the depth of this pitching could be into next season.
Then on the offensive side, we were kind of talking through who that core group is. I settled on Dylan Carey, Josh Caron, we're looking Gabe Swanson, who took that big step this year. And then if he's healthy, I'm still in on Garrett Anglum. Is that an accurate place to start? Would you add anyone, take anyone off of that group?
No, I think that's pretty much it. You start thinking through their lineup. I mean, Cole Evans probably be back, and he's someone you feel good about. Caden Brumbaugh was another name who was in the mix to be a regular in the outfield before he got hurt prior to the start of the season. So I think you'll see him step into a bigger role now that he'll be fully healthy next year. But yeah, I mean, you're replacing your middle infielders. You've got really just Dylan Carey returning on the infield, Josh Caron, like you mentioned. Gabe Swanson sort of will elevate from kind of that unsung number 3 behind Matthews and Anderson to sort of the face of that offense. So we'll see what that can look like. And then again, I mean, to this point, some of the junior college players that they're bringing in have been heavier on the hitting side. I mean, so Nebraska's been anticipating that they're going to have to replace a good chunk of their lineup. And I think that they learned from the 22 season just all the more how important it is to have an older and a veteran group too. So I'd be surprised if you rely too much on freshmen coming in. I think much like last season, you're going to see a number of JUCO players, maybe a portal player or two like we had this year with Casey Burnham and Charlie Fisher. And then you bank on that experience, sort of bridging that gap and leading to more of a seamless transition.
Last thing for you then, Evan, going to the portal, you mentioned it with the pitching staff, you mentioned it with the lineup, and including the JUCO guys in there. Is that a sustainable way for Nebraska to, get back to a regional 2 out of every 3 years? Because you see what happened with, putting all that pressure on Anderson and Matthews after their freshman years. They slumped as sophomores, obviously bounced back in a big way this year. But I guess a 2-part question, the group that's coming back, are those guys ready for the pressure? And if not, is going through the portal a way to, try to get them more comfortable and not put as much pressure on them?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I think, how college baseball construction is going to go these days. And I think ideally, and Nebraska coaches have said this, like, you want to continue to build your foundation through high school recruiting and development, but you're going to want to supplement that every year with the portal, with junior college players still. So, you can still get old and stay old. And I think we've seen the importance of that in college baseball. When you're fielding a team of 21, 22-year-olds versus like 19 and 20-year-olds, that translates in how you see power numbers offensively. That translates in just mental and physical maturity and the grind of a 55-game regular season. I think there's just been more of a priority on that and identifying the value in that. So, I mean, I think what you've seen is probably going to be what you continue to see going forward, which is Nebraska brings in roughly 15 high school players, you're maybe 5 or so portal guys, roughly the same number of junior college, 5 to 10 junior college. And then you just assume that players are going to leave every year. And that's just how it goes. It's no indictment on an individual program, but it just is a reflection of the climate where guys are going to look for opportunities elsewhere. In some cases, they just want to be done. I mean, Corbin Hawkins was one of Nebraska's best relievers this year. He is done. He wants to be done with baseball. He had 2 years of eligibility remaining. So like sometimes that happens too. And we're still sort of coming out of the COVID year stuff. There's still about another cycle before we get through all of that. So I think that plays into what we've seen a little bit as well. But I think by and large, that's sort of just the formula right now is you build that base of high school and then you find other players to fill in needs where you can.
It's Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald with us here on the block, talking a lot of Husker baseball. Evan, as always, we appreciate it. We'll look forward to reading your regional, super regional College World Series coverage, and heck, maybe see you out at the ballpark one of those times.
Sounds great, Austin. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Once again, Evan Bland with us here on the block. We'll step aside, take a break, short segment before the top of the hour, and then we'll get into a busy hour 2 here on the block.
If you're interested in installing solar panels in Nebraska, there's a name you need to know. Solar by Alpine Electric is based out of Lincoln, and you can be sure your project will be handled with care and detail because Rick, the owner of Solar by Alpine Electric, will be involved in the entire process from start to finish. We're an REC Solar Certified Pro installer and handle jobs in Lincoln and the surrounding area. Let us show you real-time results in your area. Call Rick today at 402-440-4371. Solar by Alpine Electric.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Problem gambling affects more than the gambler. It affects spouses, children, extended family members, and friends. If you are a loved one who's struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 476-2300.
Hi, I'm Barb Bettine, President and CEO of the Lincoln YMCA. On behalf of the Y, I want to thank you for voting us Lincoln's Choice for Best Youth Sports Programs, Best Youth Activity Programs, and Best Preschool. These categories represent so much of what we do at the Y, and we're honored to serve thousands of families in our community each and every day. Hey, with summer just around the corner, I invite you to stop in to one of our 4 branches and learn how the Y can be a part of your family. The Y Outdoor Pools open May 27th, and we can't wait to see you.
Y'all feeling lucky? Luke Combs here, and I have an exclusive opportunity for you to win $500,000 by joining me in the Living Lucky with Luke Combs lottery experience. When it rains, it pours for lucky fans and lottery players who enter to win a chance of a lifetime. Join me in Nashville for a private concert at the iconic Ryman Auditorium in 2024. One lucky winner will have the chance to walk away with $500,000 at the end of the show.
Details at nelottery.com. Living Lucky with Luke Combs ticket top prize odds 1 in 128,000.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and we are celebrating a record sales month in April, and we're going to let it roll and crank up in the month of May. We have some big discounts and special interest rates going on this month on selected new in-stock Sierras and Silverados. Buy a new Silverado or Sierra, get $3,000 off or 1.9% interest. You heard right, $3,000 off or 1.9% interest. We have outstanding specials on all of our new and pre-owned GM certified units. So stop on in and see us or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. New discount must trade in and finance with the roof credit.
The Drive with AD and Raph.
Was this season a stepping stone or a stone in the shin?
Want to think that it's a stepping stone, but unfortunately, I think the people that we're going to lose are going to be back in the same situation. I think again next year you're going to have to find a few hitters. You're going to have to find some pitching. So unfortunately, I think it's not a stepping stone.
You have to replace your first baseman, your second baseman, your shortstop, your center fielder, your Friday night starting pitcher, your Saturday night starting pitcher, 3 quality relievers, your backup third baseman, backup catcher, and backup infielder.
Weekdays from 8 to 10 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Spring is here, and Acres has special financing on all John Deere lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers. Get your yard looking great and use John Deere's wide selection of attachments to landscape your property to perfection. And for a limited time, with a purchase of a new John Deere mower, get up to $200 to apply to the steel power tool of your choice. From trimmers to chainsaws, gas or electric, Acres is your home for steel products and service. Acres, solutions for every field.
Allo is here to give you the FYI. Are your shows buffering? We know why. Are your games lagging? Don't deny. Are your work calls dropping? Here's the FYI. Your old school internet company can't keep up. They give it a try. Their network isn't enough. Don't get trapped in their gimmicks and lies. It's time to fiber your internet with Allo. Honest, local, and hassle-free is what we stand by. Experience Allo Internet. Visit allofiber.com/FYI.
Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Smoked meats, amazing sides. The only problem when they fix you a plate is that at some point, that plate will be empty. But hear me out. What if that plate was never empty? That dream can be your reality with the Mary Ellen's Express Lunch Buffet. From 11 to 2 every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and even Saturday. One price, all you can eat, and it even comes with a drink. Tell your boss you're taking a long lunch and get down there. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul at 29th and Pine Lake. Let them fix you a plate.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
It's the best time of the year to order a new John Deere sprayer from Landmark Implement during the early order program. Leverage the industry's latest technology with See & Spray to target weeds in season, in corn and soybeans, and use less herbicide per acre. Utilize Exact Apply to save in chemical usage and prevent over-application. Now is the time to lock in the best price of the year. Contact your local Landmark location for full details and experience the Landmark difference.
Springtime is here, and it's time to get to work on outdoor projects. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams. From treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and TimberTech composite decking. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671. Go online at deckcityne.com or visit their new location just north of 33rd and Cornhusker Highway.
Getting back on time here on the block. Austin Norman, Eric Strickland with you here for just a sec. Notorious BIB. Do I think the Husker baseball team will have staff changes during the offseason? That's a big wait and see. Probably some. There's a lot of movement when it comes to coaching staffs pretty much all the time. What those moves might be, I don't know, but I do know Rob Childress on the Husker bench is highly sought after. He's a respected coach. I'm sure he's getting looks. And to answer your other question, is Charlie Fisher gone? Yes, Charlie Fisher just had 1 year at Nebraska. He's out of eligibility. Hour two of On the Block. You've got Colorado talking with the Big 12 again. Is there more conference realignment on the way in the next 5 years? What's better for Colorado, the Pac-12, Big 12? How did that affect Nebraska men's basketball? Maybe we get into that. Before a little NBA shoot-around, Bob Myers leaving the Warriors, Detroit looking at Monty Williams, and the Sixers hiring their old divisional rival head coach, Nick Nurse. All that and more, hour two on the block on the other side.
All hits radio request line. What would you like to hear?
Trucks and Bucks.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
You know, the one about the 8 trucks.
Nope.
Sure, it's the biggest hit in Nebraska.
How does it go?
Trucks and Bucks from the Nebraska Lottery. You could win one of 8 new trucks.
Are you talking about the Nebraska Lottery's Trucks and Bucks scratch game?
Yes.
You mean you want us to play the commercial?
Please.
You got it.
Trucks and Bucks from the Nebraska Lottery is back, and you could win one of 8 new trucks. Top prize odds 1 in 336,000.
Hello, Talking Deer here. I want to take this time to thank the Nebraska Lottery. Since 1993, Nebraska Lottery proceeds, over $900 million, have gone to its beneficiaries, including the environment. And since I'm out here in the field every day, I see it firsthand, or first hoof, I guess.
Who are you talking to, dear?
Oh, I was just thanking the Nebraska Lottery and all the people who play for supporting the Nebraska environment.
That's nice, dear.
The Nebraska Lottery, 30 years of building a better Nebraska.
Hi, I'm Barb Bettine, President and CEO of the Lincoln YMCA. On behalf of the Y, I want to thank you for voting us Lincoln's Choice for Best Youth Sports Programs, Best Youth Activity Programs, and Best Preschool. These categories represent so much of what we do at the Y, and we're honored to serve thousands of families in our community each and every day. Hey, with summer just around the corner, I invite you to stop in to one of our 4 branches and learn how the Y can be a part of your family. The Y Outdoor Pools open May 27th, and we can't wait to see you.
Nebraska's favorite vape shop,
Generation V.
providing friendly, personalized service and the largest selection of vaporizers and e-liquid flavors in the state.
Generation V.
Generation V will beat or match any local competitor's price. With a huge selection, great service, and the lowest prices, Generation V is your one-stop shop for all your vaping needs.
Generation V.
With 4 Lincoln locations, visit us on the web at generationv.com. E-cigs contain nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Bagels and Joe is the perfect place for breakfast or lunch in May. Try their pesto cream cheese on any breakfast sandwich. And try the Karma Latte, as 10% of proceeds from that drink will go to the Teammates Mentoring Program. 4 locations in Lincoln and 1 in Seward. Bagels and Joe.
There's never been a better time to earn more on your checking account. Open a free Kasasa Cash checking account with Liberty First Credit Union and earn up to 5.5% APY for up to $40,000. It's simple. Open your Kasasa Cash checking account online or stop into any of the 4 Lincoln locations or Seward and Omaha branches. Liberty First makes switching easy, and Kasasa checking is always free. See libertyfirstcu.com for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beers, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Springtime is here, and it's time to get to work on outdoor projects. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams, from treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and TimberTech composite decking. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671. Go online at deckcityne.com or visit their new location just north of 33rd and Cornhusker Highway.
Hey, moms and dads, bring the whole crew to a Salt Dogs baseball game and unleash the fun. Visit Haymarket Park all summer for fireworks Fridays, souvenir Saturdays, Sunday family fun days, and more. With 50 home games, even weekdays can be unforgettable. Planning an event? Make it a home run with group discounts. When you need an outing the whole family will enjoy, unleash the fun with the Salt Dogs. Call 402-474-2255 or visit saltdogs.com for tickets.
This is Brian at Midwest Bank, and we've been proudly serving clients in the Lincoln community since 2008, and we're excited to open a second location in January 2024 at 70th and Pioneers Boulevard. Our new branch will provide all the convenient services you're looking for in a bank, along with the friendly staff we're known for. Whether you're starting a business or expanding your business, our team is here for you. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwestbank.com, member FDIC.
Old School with DP and J.
Remember, we still got to factor in the offensive line, the receivers
I'm
we
not
don't know
factoring
about.
that. I'm looking at individual here. Chuba has not done anything to date here.
He's been a starter here.
Oh, and
he's been a starter.
Okay,
here.
and the
That's
coach
one more.
Two coaches got fired.
He didn't get him fired. Look, Chuba ain't the reason why.
I'm not saying he get fired, but he didn't do anything. He didn't stop me from bringing in just him.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
That it is. I'm Austin Norman. More importantly, he's the 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland, in the city that loves him, doing business. This
D-Town. D-Town.
Yes, sir.
But I still love Lincoln and Omaha, and well, Bellevue too. You know, Bellevue is my baby. But I do love it, and just got contact with my business partner, friend. So I'm blessed, man. Listen, I have a couple companies here. You know, one you know about with Cerebral. There's another one that's out in South Lake. So there are times when I like to come and just meet with them, man. I mean, you know, come and sit down and kind of see how things are going and what's going on with them. And one is a brain. They do like brain. Like if you have an EKG of the heart, they do EEGs of the brain. So it's pretty cool, man. And get a chance to catch up with fam too, because my mom and sister are here. So it's always a dual trip for me. Family and sometimes business and fun. So yeah, it's a blessing.
I love having you in studio, but I know a lot of people love Strick too. So I got to share. I get it. I understand business is about relationships, so you're fostering those as well. Speaking of relationships, appreciate the great one we have with Mary Ellen's, Charles and his crew. They're back open today through the weekend. They do great work, bring great food. Definitely check them out at some point this weekend. Sit on their patio too. I mean, it's great inside. It's close to the buffet, but Strick, this weekend, you got your 80-degree weather, you got the sun, some breeze.
Oh, yeah.
You sit outside, eat your Mary Ellens this weekend.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, I know you got a chance to sit back and relax when we were out at Cedars, and they came in and brought the van out. So they do all of that too, man. They cater. They'll bring the food to you in your event that you may be doing. There's a lot of events that are popping off and popping up throughout this summer. Obviously, you're going to have the College World Series. If you got an event going on, Mary Ellen's is the place to be. Shout out to Charles in the group, 27th and Pine Lake. Shoot out there, have a say hello, and let them know that Always on the Block sent you.
Absolutely. Well, what's the place to be for Colorado, the Pac-12 or the Big 12? Obviously, Colorado made the jump to the West Coast to join the Pac-12. Same time Nebraska left for the Big 10. But new reporting from CBS Sports is saying that over the last few months, not just picking up again, but over the last few months, Colorado and the Big 12 have met face-to-face. They're involved in consistent talks. And that doesn't necessarily surprise me, Strick, because of the TV deal for the Pac-12. Larry Scott did put them in a great position when he came in as commissioner. It's one thing for the NBA to have a mediocre TV deal, but those teams make enough, with tickets and just general branding on social media. The Pac-12 has been falling behind the Pac for a long, long time. It's almost more crippling to me that the Pac-12 doesn't have a new TV deal than the NBA's so one right now. What do you make of Colorado having those talks with the Big 12 and what it means for their future?
Well, let's just first and foremost say that a lot of people were disturbed and distraught about the exiting of UCLA as well as USC to go to the Big Ten. So there was a lot of speculation. There was a lot of talk, and there's talking about realignment, also possibly partnering up. And then there's talk of what it would mean for others to bounce and make exit and go somewhere else as well. So the Pac-12, a lot of people are kind of keeping their eye on it. Right now, the money for the Pac-12 is very, very low, like you just said. And Big 12 is trying to figure out a way to put together a nice grouping of talent as well as programs and organizations in order to be still viable. Knowing that they probably won't overtake the Big Ten, knowing that they definitely won't overtake the SEC, but they kind of want to fill that void, because out east on the ACC side of things, there's looking to be some poaching going on there as well. There's a lot of conversations, a lot of talk. Obviously, some people still go back and rely on the conversations that was had with Bobby Bowden and FSU when they were having discussions with the SEC at that time. There's one side of the group says that Bobby Bowden and the group turned the SEC down. And then there's another part of the faction that says that Bobby Bowden, they decided to pass on them and move on to South Carolina. So there you have those factions going on. But at the same time, they have a crazy deal that I think takes them out another like almost 10, 12 years or so.
36.
36, yeah. Right? So at that point, they're locked and stocked. I mean, I think it's like $100-something million in order to exit out of those deals. So they're there, but they're still not where they want to be. There's not a sweet spot for them. Some people are looking to make exit, and there's looking to be some poaching done. And do they want to take that and either forego or give back or come up with some solutions in order to do that? So we look back out this other side of things on the Pacs. It's looking like it might fall flat on its face. And so a lot of teams are kind of eyeing, kind of watching, kind of peeping in the door, peeping in the window, trying to see whether or not this is going to happen. And there's a lot of discussions that are going down in those areas, having to try to come up with some solutions, possibly to bring those groups together. What type of groupings would be a great fit? Now, we know the Big 12 is moving out as far as Florida, but they just haven't gone the other side as far as probably the mountain. The Rocky Mountains, they haven't too much extended. I think San Diego State, I think, is one that they're looking at as well. So, yeah. Say what now?
Well, BYU's coming into the Big 12.
Yeah, so they're still in the Rockies. Yeah. So I'm saying they're not as far as the Rockies. The Rockies has been the barrier at this point. Nothing really has extended out past that, and I think there's some conversations that talk about San Diego State. If not unless I'm late, but I know that's the conversation that they're having.
Would San Diego State prefer the Pac-12 or the Big 12? That's my question.
I think it would be a better fit for them for the Pac-12. But then again, that's the thing. I mean, you don't know what you're partnering up with, right? It's kind of like going into a house. Let's look at the analogy of this. It's like you're moving to a new state, to a new city. You go and you find a nice house for your family to transition in. You're not ready to buy yet, but this is a great transition spot for you. You get into the house, you sign all the documents, all the paperwork, money's ready and good to go. You move in. And after you move in, you find out that the house is foreclosed on. Right? So you're living all that you put up, all the moving, all the expenses, everything that you've done to get into this specific house, you find out it's foreclosed on. So those are some of the things that probably people are just keeping an eye on. Can they sustain it? I know Washington and Oregon are kind of looking for the exit as well at some point, because I just don't think the money has been good enough, and they're feeling that they're behind the 8 ball and they're behind the curve as far as how other structured conferences are going right now.
We know that the conversation is about Oregon and Washington, and what does that mean then, for their in-state schools as well, with Oregon State and with Washington State? What happens with Cal and Stanford, two old, proud academic universities?
Very good academic schools.
Yeah, all good conversations to have. But Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. Let us know, is Colorado a better fit in the Pac-12, or are they better in the Big 12? Like, of course, they're one of those legacy members, Big 7, Big 8, Big 12. Do they fit better there, or are they better out west? Text line, let us know. I want to throw this to you, though, too, Strick, on the Colorado conversation. That same CBS Sports article said, quote, "It was made clear that a move to the Big 12 would not be made without the support of football coach Deion Sanders." That, to me, takes me back to what you said about Bobby Bowden. Did he not, nix the move to the SEC? It's crazy to me that a coach could hold up a move to a different conference. To me, yeah, sure, you get the coach's input, but that's above his pay grade. Even if it's Deion, you can find another coach. Finding your long-term conference with that many millions of dollars at stakes, that to me shouldn't require the head coach's blessing.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. And I so then it comes down to this for me, if I'm looking at it. I know that Deion is a tremendous competitor. I know that he loves to win. I know that he wants to win. He wants to be the best at what he's doing. And in the competitive space and going up against the best, right? But at the same time, if I'm him, I'm looking at two things. Is this really a long-term play for me? I personally think that anytime I'm in a space where I can win and I can draw the types of players that would help me to win, I believe in the long-term strategy of staying somewhere. And it's not always about the Mel Tucker type of money, because that can be short-lived. I'm about that long. Like if Mel Tucker's making 9, I'll make 5, 6, but I want to make 5, 6 for the next 20 years, 30 years. You know what I'm saying? I want to be there, Kirk Ferentz type. I want the long-term deal. So I want to be the dominant figure in my zone. I don't care about all that the accolades, you can be the coach of the year, you can do this, but I'm gonna win 10 games every year. I'm going to put myself in a position, if we pop one and we break through and win all 12, then you got to talk about it. We've got expansion playoffs. I'm thinking about how can I get into the playoffs, put my name in the hat, and see what it do. And at the same time, my contract of 5 goes to 15. That's what I'm trying to do, right? So if that's the case, then if I'm Deion, I stay Pac-12. In a fizzling, tough to compete. Yes, they got NIL. I might stay there. I with the change of now Texas and Oklahoma, I might be open to a discussion, because now I'm just looking at Utah. I'm looking at TCU. And I believe if I'm Colorado, those places I can compete against and compete for a Big 12 championship. You know, you got Houston. You know, you've got other places, Cincinnati. You got all these, but I think I can compete against them. So to me, it's just wherever the best fit for where we can get the best bang for our buck, and I can compete to put myself in a position to win, and longevity of myself being a coach for a long time.
That's a conversation we're definitely going to have as we get to the fall, but I want to have it right now too. Who's the best football program in the Big 12 once Texas and Oklahoma leave? Is it Oklahoma State? Is it TCU?
You that's the crazy thing, right? I think you would probably have to. I think you still got don't count Utah out. It's something about Utah. They're Pac-12. Tripping.
Yeah, they're still Pac-12.
Yeah, they're Pac-12. So no, I'm looking at TCU Okie State. I'm looking at TCU Okie State. You might have every now and then. It's going to depend on coaching. Cincinnati may pop up. UCF may pop up. But Houston may pop up. But for the most part, I think your mainstays are probably going to be TCU and Okie State.
Which is wild to think about. Those have been programs that have, been in the top 10, been in the top 5 in the last, 15 years. For TCU was just, last season. Not a lot of historical staying power. There's really not. I mean, Kansas State, we know what they were, even, Bill Snyder had them up for a little bit. They were really down before that, back down under, Ron Prince before Snyder came back, and then, Kleiman's in there. Kansas had its best season in, 16 years, made a bowl game. Baylor, up and down. Still don't know what that program is under Dave Aranda. UCF, Houston, BYU, Cincinnati. This is their first taste, long-term of playing with the big boys. Texas Tech, does that scare you? No. West Virginia?
Not really. Not really.
Iowa State? No.
Up and down.
It's got to be TCU or Oklahoma State, which is good for those programs. I think Sonny Dykes is good. I think Mike Gundy is very close to wearing out his welcome at Oklahoma State, though. I think that's a program that's almost in need of a new voice. So there's change on the horizon in the Big 12. Someone's going to step up and run that conference at some point, because that always happens. You don't go that long without a dominant team in a conference, regardless of how big or small it is.
Well said, Austin. And I look at it also from this standpoint too, is I've pretty much unearthed everything in Colorado, right? I've pretty much taken everything like the Vancouver Grizzlies did in the middle of the night when I was playing there. And the next thing you knew, they're in Memphis, right? In the middle of the night, big trucks. I still don't know how they pull that off without any visuals on that happening. But hey, they did it. So if I'm thinking about this right, I'm Colorado. I'm looking to dominate the scene of an unstable Pac-12, right? Make noise, put my bid in, and then kind of see where we fit there, what changes are going to be made, what potential additions are going to be made. Is there a TV deal that can get done that can put us? Now, then I start weighing that, and then I start kind of, peeking over and seeing what's going on in the Big 12. What happened last year? Who's good to step up? Kansas State. Oh, that's another one to keep an eye on. Kansas State got something going down there in Manhattan. So at that point, I'm weighing my scales and trying to make a determination as to what's going to be the best move to go over here, because the money's getting a little bit more right in Big 12 than it is in Pac-12. So that's something to consider.
That it is. While we're on the subject of Colorado, let's bring it back home a little bit. The Nebraska football schedule was released today. Nebraska-Colorado will be the big noon kickoff game there I suppose it's technically week 1, since Nebraska's playing that week 0 game against Minnesota. So Nebraska-Colorado, that 11 o'clock Central kickoff on Fox. They'll play Minnesota at 6 or 7 at night on Fox again, that Thursday game at the end of August. Strick, let's finish the segment with this. This Nebraska-Colorado game, I know, has had people talking for a long time. 2 new coaches, longtime rivals, back to the Big 8. I get all of that. I still struggle to think that this is one of the most important games on Nebraska's schedule. It's game 2. Both places have new coaches, a lot of, roster turnover, obviously coaching staff turnover, and it's a non-conference game. So I get the conversation around it, but I don't think it's as important as the amount of chatter it's getting. Where do you fall with that?
Well, I think it starts with this. I think when you have you're a new program, you're looking to set a foundation, establish yourself for what your program is going to be. The challenges that they meet on these first two games, and we're not just only talking about, we're talking about Minnesota. PJ Fleck has had Nebraska's number. He's one of the ones. Iowa was one. He's one. Doggone it, Bielema is jumping out there right now. It's about to jump into that same category, which is crazy to me. So when you think about that, these two challenges, you got to go on the road on a Thursday night against a Minnesota team that we're still trying to figure out what their new revamping is going to be with some of their losses. And then you got to go to Colorado with a lot of unknowns there. They've got a lot of 5-star, 4-star talent. They basically unearthed everything. They're starting afresh. Can he, in such a short period of time, with only a fall practice sessions mostly and some of these camps, can he pull it all together and get a united front that early in the season? So it's going to depend on which program has been able to establish themselves and the character of the program, as well as what they're going to be quicker. Is it going to be Rule? Is it going to be Dion? Or is talent going to just set in and take the day? So we're gonna see what that's going to be. That's going to be very telling for what Nebraska's season is going to be like, because it doesn't get any easier. You've got cupcakes, but potential pop use in Louisiana Tech and Northern Illinois, because Northern Illinois, they've kind of been up and down, but they have capabilities of clipping people in their past. Then you've got to face Michigan, right? You come back home and face Michigan. Then you go on to Illinois on the road, who's been popping you. Come home to a game you should win. Purdue, you don't know what's going on because of the loss of Aiden O'Connell and just what's all going to happen there. You just don't know what's going on. You got to go to Michigan State, come home against Baby Tua, hit the road to Wisconsin, and then you get home we thought it was going to be an easy schedule. This is not easy by any means because of the trips that they have on the road that they're going to have to face. And unless they become a unified front, a unified group that can hit the road and handle business, you could be looking at another, 5-7 potential season, or 4-8. You could be looking at that. So that's going to be the scary thing to keep an eye on.
It's on the table, and like you said, the week 1 against week 0, first game against Minnesota, and then on the road again at Colorado. There's a lot to be gleaned from those first couple games. And yeah, you need a little bit of a ramp up period, but at the same time, hit the ground running, prove some people wrong, get out to a quick start, show that there's more in there than maybe some people are thinking. Yeah. And then we'll see what the back half of that schedule looks like after that. All right, NBA headlines. Let's get into those next. Bob Myers officially out as the Warriors GM. Where did they go? What does that mean? And some coaching news in the NBA as well. We'll talk about that and more as we continue here on The Block.
If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, listen up. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Warm weather calls for fun in the sun and in the pool. If a backyard pool is in your summer plans, make electrical safety your priority. Visit les.com/safety to keep your family safe.
Tailored Life is now open in Bennett. Make the short drive down Highway 2 for tons of items for your home, for both indoors and outdoors. Check out their variety of potted trees, shrubs, vines, perennials, and colorful annuals. Plus, porch pots and landscape lighting to enhance the outside of your home. Don't forget their home goods for indoors, plus convenient drinks and snacks, most which are produced locally. Visit Tailored Life today in Bennett and stay tuned to their Facebook page at Tailored Life 360 for food truck events coming up.
Spring is here, and Acres has special financing on all John Deere lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers. Get your yard looking great and use John Deere's wide selection of attachments to landscape your property to perfection. And for a limited time, with a purchase of a new John Deere mower, get up to $200 to apply to the steel power tool of your choice. From trimmers to chainsaws, gas or electric, Acres is your home for steel products and service. Acres, solutions for every field.
This is Brad with Midwest Bank, proudly serving our Nebraska communities for over 70 years. We're a community bank, making local decisions, supporting local organizations, and helping local businesses and farms succeed. We are dedicated to serving our clients and helping them meet their financial needs with sound, innovative banking solutions. From an array of checking and deposit accounts, cash management services, to small business, real estate, and ag lending. We're here for you, your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwestbank.com. Member FDIC.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Copple Chevrolet GMC, and we are celebrating a record sales month in April, and we're going to let it roll and crank up in the month of May. We have some big discounts and special interest rates going on this month on selected new in-stock Sierras and Silverados. Buy a new Silverado or Sierra, get $3,000 off or 1.9% interest. You heard right, $3,000 off or 1.9% interest. We have outstanding specials on all of our new and pre-owned GM certified units. So stop on in and see us or check us out online at copplecars.com. You'll be glad you did. New discount must trade in and finance with the roof credit.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
We'll see a slight chance of thunderstorms this afternoon. It will be another very warm day as we'll top out at 89. South winds at 10 to 15. A slight chance of thunderstorms tonight with a low down to 65. We will continue with a slight chance of thunderstorms tomorrow and stay warm with a high of 88. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, I'm Barb Bettine, President and CEO of the Lincoln YMCA. On behalf of the Y, I want to thank you for voting us Lincoln's Choice for Best Youth Sports Programs, Best Youth Activity Programs, and Best Preschool. These categories represent so much of what we do at the Y, and we're honored to serve thousands of families in our community each and every day. Hey, with summer just around the corner, I invite you to stop in to one of our 4 branches and learn how the Y can be a part of your family. The Y Outdoor Pools open May 27th, and we can't wait to see you.
Allo is here to give you the FYI. Are your shows buffering? We know why. Are your games lagging? Don't deny. Are your work calls dropping? Here's the FYI. Your old school internet company can't keep up. They give it a try. Their network isn't enough. Don't get trapped in their gimmicks and lies. It's time to fiber your internet with Allo. Honest, local, and hassle-free is what we stand by. Experience Allo Internet. Visit allofiber.com/FYI.
There's never been a better time to earn more on your checking account. Open a free Kasasa Cash checking account with Liberty First Credit Union and earn up to 5.5% APY for up to $40,000. It's simple. Open your Kasasa Cash checking account online or stop into any of the 4 Lincoln locations or Seward and Omaha branches. Liberty First makes switching easy, and Kasasa checking is always free. See libertyfirstcu.com for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're going to talk some NBA this segment here on the block. I'm Austin Norman, but relying mostly on the insight of Eric Strickland for this segment, 9-year NBA vet. Love getting the insight here. Strick, where do you want to start? Coaching or front office?
Go with front office.
Okay, so Bob Myers, the now former GM of the Warriors, stepped down yesterday. Not fired, not retiring, just walking away is what he's doing. What do you make of that decision by Bob Myers, first of all?
So here's the thing, right? It's surprising because initially my first thoughts was when we talked about this before, I thought it was possibly a leverage play, and it still could have been because we don't know the back end conversations that were being had between the organization as well as himself, right? Because we just know he cryptically knew his contract was coming up, so we knew that there was going to be discussions. But let me give you a take, and I would love your perspective as well as the Sutter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. Follow me because it's kind of it may be deep and it may come off as searching. But it's something to think about and to consider, right? Okay, so here's what you got. You've made a run. You've got 4 championships in 11 years. Great run. First of all, you had Danny Ainge throws out when you're on a search for months. You can't find a GM. You're on the hunt for months. And there's a guy sitting right there under your nose who's an assistant GM and unproven, but yet you like him a lot and you say, I'm going to take a chance at the recommendation of Danny Ainge and others, right? And it pans out for you. It works, okay? So now he finds himself in a situation where I think he believes at this point he's made a boo-boo. He signed 28-year-old Andrew Wiggins to a multi-year contract with a player option that would end at 26 and 27. You have Steph Curry on a $212 million deal, $215 million deal that would end and take him out to 2025-26. You have 24-25 Gary Payton Jr. or Gary Payton II with a contract. Kevon Looney goes out to 2025. Kuminga has 2023 this year upcoming with a team option. I believe they're going to continue that. You have a player option for DiVincenzo, but you think your boo-boo is this. Jordan Poole goes for $31.9 million, right? And you're on the verge of having to make significant decisions on multiple players. One, because you have Draymond Green on a player option. So I venture to say that Draymond won't be dumb and opt out of this contract unless he knows for sure he can probably go down south and play in LA with LeBron, right? Mm-hmm. With significant money, maybe a little loss just to take the homeboy hookup. But at the same time, unless something like that can happen to where he wants to be with who he wants to play with, I venture to say he takes that option. It would be stupid, I think, personally. Play your contract out. I know what that looks like. Opting out of a contract, probably one of the dumbest things I did, but it was one of the most fulfilling things because I was more happy in the location that I went to. So you've got that. But at the same time, you've got Klay Thompson coming up, both at the same time. Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, 23-24, if Draymond takes the player option. You're going to have to make decisions about the potential breakup of one of the top big threes teams that you've had that's made a significant run. Does he want to be in that position after you made the boo-boo, or do you want to go out on top? This is the question I'm throwing out, Austin. Or do you want to go on top, 4 championships, 11, and let the next guy make that decision?
That's a fascinating approach. I totally see where you're coming from.
See where I'm going?
I do. Because think about Bob Myers and his role. I mean, yeah, he's the GM, but think about how Steph, Klay, and Draymond specifically talk about him, how he's at all those games, how he's one of their confidants. They've gone to him with issues before. He's been the one to help patch things over with the rest of the team between those 3 sometimes, even with Coach Kerr. So Bob Myers, I think, has been more than just a GM to the Warriors. He's put on a lot of different hats in that role. I think that group is close enough with him and smart enough. I think that's a collectively smart group, savvy, big 3 to understand the business of the NBA. But I'm sure it's too strict that they see that their end is probably coming together. They know that they're getting older. They understand the reality. But no matter how close you are with a GM, and no matter how much you trust him, he trusts you, there's still, I think, the emotional and personal hit when he's the guy that pulls the trigger on trading Klay Thompson to get the contract off, or that didn't do enough to convince Draymond to stay and run that deadly, pick and roll, or even just the motion stuff in the regular season with Steph. Because Steph's not going anywhere.
No.
We know that. He's in the Bay for life. That's what's happening. Those other two guys are Steph's closest friends. They're the people that have worked best with him on the basketball court for so long. So I think any executive that is worth their salt is looking into the future, understanding a decision has to be made. But to your point, I wouldn't blame Bob Myers for saying, I've invested all this time and energy into this. I don't want to ruin my relationship. I would rather walk away if I don't have, the cojones or the iron stomach to pull the trigger on any of these deals than jeopardize my standing with these guys I've known for a decade plus.
That's what I, in essence, have laid out as to, and again, I could be wrong. I'm just looking at this objectively with just an open mind and a broad scope. I didn't want to be just specific to him leaving and just thinking that. I think there's a lot of stuff that goes into that. It's very similar to what happened to me with Don Nelson. Don Nelson emotionally was tied to me. Hated to pull the trigger, but some things was happening behind the scenes that made those things come into play that caused some friction internally between him and others in the organization. So, but I think that you're right. I don't think that he wants to have to be the one to let his emotions, and he's still right now. He's on the hook. You just lost. I mean, you didn't get deep. You're coming back with the same team with a deep Western Coast Conference, right? You still got Jokic and that crew to deal with for something. They ain't going nowhere anytime soon. They're kind of at their peak, right? I don't think Dallas is in the running.
KD and Book aren't going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere. They're
Kings.
Phoenix.
How far down the road just pushed you to 7 in their first run with 2 young guys.
That's
the
what
Clippers still have 2 stars.
Yeah,
the West isn't going anywhere.
Right. So you possibly made a boo-boo that you may not be able to get out of unless you package 1 or 2 of the guys that are right there in your heart. That's the only way you can get out of it. Right? And that's going to be the thing that I don't think he wants to have to be the one to make that decision on.
So then you're Joe Lacob. You're one of the owners of the Warriors. You see your GM step away. Strick, I've heard a lot that Mike Dunleavy Jr., who's the vice president of basketball operations, essentially the number 2 to Bob Myers for the last few years, he has a good chance at getting the job. But if you're the owner, do you trust a first-time GM to make that move with the poise, the grace, the business savvy that it's going to take? Or do you go out there and do you hire someone that's been in that position before, that got a good deal, that handled their relationships well to make sure there weren't any burned bridges? Do you go internal? Do you go external? Well, and see, that's the thing. The 2 internal people right now is, as you said, is Dunleavy Jr. as well as Lacob's son, Kirk. Kirk, yeah.
So do you want to come across as having nepotism? Not even to say that it is, but do you want to look as if your organization is going to be a nepotism type of organization? Or do you turn internally, or do you look outside to come in to a culture that has been established? I think it makes it difficult to go outside because of the close knit of that group. Trying to bring somebody else in to try to gel and work their way or navigate or sew their way into this group. And what type of guy are you going to look like if you come in and you break the group? Right?
Right. So that's your first move. That's the most pressing order of business. It has to be.
So there you go. So that's why I think it's going to make it tough for it to be somebody on the outside. I think it's going to be maybe somebody on the inside, so that there could be understanding to the decision, and it still keeps it in there's a relationship to have conversations there, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the way that I think that may go down.
from the internal hire you're thinking for the Warriors to some external hires of coaches. The Bucks hire Adrian Griffin. He'll be a first-time head coach. Steal him from the Raptors. I'm curious to see that fit. But the 3 seed out east this year, the Philadelphia 76ers, of course, fire Doc Rivers, and they go get a former division rival head coach in Nick Nurse, who Joel Embiid and James Harden have kind of subtweeted, have talked about in some not nice ways. What do you make of Nick Nurse going to Philly?
That's I think Nick Nurse is a pretty good coach. I think he's solid. I don't think I've had anything bad to say about him. Obviously, won Coach of the Year, got to the Eastern Finals. Won
that title with Toronto.
Won the title with Toronto. After beating the Bucks in the finals. And on the Kawhi Leonard, shot that got him there against the, so he's been a part of some wild times. I was kind of surprised when he left, but I think he's a good coach, man. Again, whether he fits there in that culture of the Philadelphia 76ers, it's going to take some work. I mean, it's going to take some work to get that done. Now, on the other hand, I loved Adrian Griffin. Matter of fact, he's another lefty like myself. We played against each other. I've watched him kind of, run up the ranks a little bit. I'm glad to see him get an opportunity. I actually thought that they may go internal with somebody like Sam Cassell or something like that, being that Sam Cassell is a tremendous, personable coach as well. Surprised at that, but nonetheless, Adrian Griffin, I think he'll do a tremendous job there in Milwaukee.
I like Adrian Griffin because his son AJ was a stud at Duke. I very much appreciated AJ's contribution. Solid rookie year for the Hawks too. Hit a game winner, played a role. The other surprising news out east and kind of out west too was the Suns getting rid of Monty Williams.
Yeah.
I still don't really agree with that decision. I think Monty Williams was really good for the Suns. I think that's the owner looking for a shakeup. But it came out today that Detroit was prepared to offer Monty Williams $10 million to come coach. He hasn't accepted. It's just a rumor out there that they're interested in talking to him again. What do you think about the fit between Monty Williams and Detroit and what he would bring to that young roster?
That you just said it all. It's a young roster that's trying to figure themselves out and become a collective and trying to win games. I just think that it's tough in Detroit. I think it's tough in Detroit. Just the whole landscape. It doesn't have the same savor that it used to have. The thing is he's probably looking at it. Is he going to be able to keep those talented players that are already there, right? Because they're 1 or 2 years away from having to make a decision. Will they stay? He's going to have to come in and sell that. Like, do you want to do that, or is there an opportunity going to present itself to you that's better than having to try to go in to a place that's not a destination place? Phoenix is a destination place.
Big time.
Is it? So it was easy to kind of have conversations, and you're not recruiting, but you're recruiting in order to get players to come and play for your organization. And it's easier to do in Phoenix than it is in Detroit. I'm just going to be real about that. So I'm sure he's looking at that too. He could be waiting on the sidelines. He's got his money. If I'm him, I wouldn't be such in a hurry. That's why Detroit's trying to pay him $10 million. They're trying to pay him $10 million because they're trying to entice him. But there's nothing worse than being enticed by something that's going to be miserable. You're going to be miserable. Like, can you really apply yourself and put and give your absolute all to the job to get it done? Because you're going to have to revamp, you're going to have to retool, you're going to have to get them. That's a lot of energy that's expended doing that. So you've got to think about those things. And I think there's a possibility of a Tyronn Lue maybe making a shift somewhere. If I'm Tyronn, he probably doesn't. He's been LA. He's been LA for some time now. He lives in Vegas. Everything is just in that proximity. So it's got to be something great for him to want to move. Mm-hmm. But I could see something if Pop if Pop decides to call it quits, I could see San Antonio maybe being a place where Teron be like,
really?
Maybe I go down and see what's going on in the Lone Star State and get up out of Cali in a situation like that, because there's becoming some uncertainties in Cali down there with the Clippers right now. You just don't know what Kawhi Leonard's going to be able to give you, and injury-laden Paul George. You've been playing with an unstacked deck for so long that your mentals and coaching has got to be drained. Teron's got to be he has more grade than me. Let me just say that. And I'm older than T. Lue. I'm older by almost 4 years. And T. Lue, he got to be stressed and pressed right now with what he's had to deal with and some of the coaching jobs he's had to do over the last years.
I'm going to push the crossover off a minute or two to ask you one question then about San Antonio. Tyronn Lue in San Antonio with Victor Wembanyama would be fun. I'm absolutely here. Sign me up for it. If that's the way they go, I think that's a home run for him, for the Spurs, everyone in that organization. The other guy that's still out on the block that has San Antonio ties come from that Popovich tree is Mike Budenholzer. Is there a chance he goes? Do you like his experience with Giannis to parlay it into Wembanyama, or are you worried that he tries to turn Wembanyama into Giannis?
That's a great point. I don't think I think they're different styles. And I think that would do Wembanyama a disservice trying to turn him into that. But the experience of him having with that and the success that he's had. But then let's be real, there's probably going to be some conversations out there with regards to how Giannis is viewing Budenholzer towards the tail end. You know that there had to be some conversations with Giannis because with regards to Buden, and if Giannis would have said that Budenholzer is my guy, let's look at it from this standpoint. Steve Nash gone. He stayed for a little bit, but all them players are gone. And at the same time, a couple of them was like, get him out of there. And he was gone. Hey, yeah, they stuck with it for a little bit, but ultimately he was gone. Right? Jacque Vaughn's doing a great job for them. I'm happy that Jacque Vaughn has revamped his career. Now that's another name. That's another name because he comes from that Popovich tree. Jacque Vaughn is somebody that could probably, if he continues to get that young group to get going, that could be something an owner can look at and look at Jacque Vaughn and say, okay, I like what you did with that young crew that was put together up there. You got them fighting. You got them to get into the playoffs. They gave what they had, what they were given. And I got a young team down here, and I could do the same there. So I could see that correlation. And then I could also see Pop, giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Love it. Let's take our last break of the show, get to the crossover DP&J next.
Motor Food is Lincoln's hardest rocking food truck and cafe. Motor Food creates old school comfort food with a 21st century twist and lots of rock and roll attitude. Try the barbecue pulled pork mac and cheese, the grilled chicken Firebird sandwich, a 100% all beef split grilled hot dog, and any version of their funky fries. Stop by the cafe just behind Outback Steakhouse on 48th Street, or catch the food truck out and about all spring and summer. Check out their menu, order carry out, or schedule catering at motorfoodtruck.com.
Springtime is here, and it's time to get to work on outdoor projects. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams, from treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and TimberTech composite decking. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671. Go online at deckcityne.com or visit their new location just north of 33rd and Cornhusker Highway.
Repeat after me. I will not touch the fuse box.
I will probably not touch the fuse box.
Sip, do you remember what happened last time?
Yeah, I remember.
What happened?
Half of the city block lost power.
And?
My chicken condo went haywire.
That's right. The chickens ran wild. So what do we do instead?
Call Joe at Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-217-3415, or online at ambitionelectric.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and we are celebrating a record sales month in April, and we're going to let it roll and crank up in the month of May. We have some big discounts and special interest rates going on this month on selected new stock Sierras and Silverados by our Sierra. Get $3,000 off or 1.9% interest. You heard right, $3,000 off or 1.9% interest. We have outstanding specials on all of our new and pre-owned GM certified units. So stop on in and see us or check us out online at cobblecars.com. You'll be glad you did. New discount must trade in and finance with the roof credit.
The Drive with AD and Raph.
Was this season a stepping stone or a stone in the shin?
Want to think that it's a stepping stone, but unfortunately, I think the people that we're going to lose are going to be back in the same situation. I think again next year, you're going to have to find a few hitters. And you're going to find some pitching. So unfortunately, I think it's not a stepping stone.
You have to replace your first baseman, your second baseman, your shortstop, your center fielder, your Friday night starting pitcher, your Saturday night starting pitcher, 3 quality relievers, your backup third baseman, backup catcher, and backup infielder.
Weekdays from 8 to 10 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again, hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Hi, I'm Barb Bettine, President and CEO of the Lincoln YMCA. On behalf of the Y, I want to thank you for voting us Lincoln's Choice for Best Youth Sports Programs, Best Youth Activity Programs, and Best Preschool. These categories represent so much of what we do at the Y, and we're honored to serve thousands of families in our community each and every day. Hey, with summer just around the corner, I invite you to stop in to one of our 4 branches and learn how the Y can be a part of your family. The Y Outdoor Pools open May 27th, and we can't wait to see you.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
There's never been a better time to earn more on your checking account. Open a free Kasasa Cash checking account with Liberty First Credit Union and earn up to 5.5% APY for up to $40,000. It's simple. Open your Kasasa Cash checking account online or stop into any of the 4 Lincoln locations or Seward and Omaha branches. Liberty First makes switching easy, and Kasasa checking is always free. See libertyfirstcu.com for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose.
Hey, moms and dads, bring the whole crew to a Salt Dogs baseball game and unleash the fun. Visit Haymarket Park all summer for Fireworks Fridays, Souvenir Saturdays, Sunday Family Fun Days, and more. With 50 home games, even weekdays can be unforgettable. Planning an event? Make it a home run with group discounts. When you need an outing the whole family will enjoy, unleash the fun with the Salt Dogs. Call 402-474-2255 or visit saltdogs.com for tickets.
From the first pitch of a late-night Little League game to the sweet taste of frozen treats, LES powers all of life's special moments for only $2.88 a day. Learn more at les.com/value.
Hey, it's Nicklin Hames from Nebraska Volleyball. I hate wasting time in practice, and I want to help you stop wasting your time when you're looking for an electrician. High Electric has been serving the area for over 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They are experts in everything like remodeling, new additions, hot tub installation, and more. And they take jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at high-electric.com.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Neither you or I think he's retiring. The NBA, I don't think, is ready for LeBron to retire. Who's the face of the league?
They're not prepared for it. It would be shock in New York because now you're trying to recreate this again, but there's really, they're trying to do it. Like, that's why they were hoping Celtics, Lakers. Like, they're trying to figure out, find a way to revamp it.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
On the Block with Strick and Austin, joined by the old school crew. DP, Jay in the building. Gentlemen, welcome. How's it going?
Everything's all good, man.
Troublemaker.
I've come to expect that now.
Troublemaker. This room is full of troublemakers.
Yes. Yes, it is.
I want to know how so, DP.
See, I had the nerve to say that having two Hall of Famers at an event is better than one.
Seems like simple math to me.
I just think that Eric Strickland is the unofficial king of Omaha.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, you seen that smile? Look at it. Look at that Kool-Aid smile. Look at it.
Right?
Hype Man Productions.
Right? Like, there's no better athlete or representation for the
Sir
state
Eric.
of Nebraska than E. Stricky.
Thank you, DP. I appreciate it. And I would feel the same about Minnesota's finest, Jay Foreman. Yeah, I can't compete, man. I'm just trying to be in the same room with the man.
Man.
I'm just happy when I get a chance to be in the presence. That's all.
Hey, man, we just trying to do the same thing, man. You know what I'm saying? We just same old soup, just reheated. You know how it is.
Ramen noodles.
No. But see, and then change the menu, Jay Foreman. Sometimes you got to get people to eat something different than what they used to eat.
I hear you.
Speaking of eating something different than they're used to eating, Big Ten on CBS. Nebraska, Iowa, noon kickoff.
What was it using on Fox?
BTN, Fox. Yeah,
Okay.
You're going to CBS. You got Nebraska, Colorado, big noon.
Fox.
Announced
Fox.
those. Yeah.
That's pretty. I mean, it's look, where we're at as a football team or a club or university or athletic department, in the football department, is we're going to have to play our way out of those 11 o'clock starts. But it's good to have some prime time ones, especially at the beginning of the season. You play Minnesota, which is week 0. Essentially, it's Minnesota opening weekend. They love that, which is smart.
They're used to it.
And it's smart for them to get some free pub. We got to go up there, so we get back-to-back weeks of televised and eyes on your program. So, you think about building a program. First of all, you got to handle your business, right? What they doing on a hot day like today, you got to have an excellent day. It can't be an even day, and so they got to win the day today. And then as you get closer to the season, hopefully it pays off in those first 2 weeks. Now that can give you a ton of momentum in recruiting that they've already showed that they were able or have been able to work at. And, obviously, ideally, Nebraska starts 2-0, right? You start to get that momentum locally and nationally, regionally. Then you can start getting getting these athletes here for home games, right? And then you could see some things that could really turn rather quickly. But you can't do that until you handle your business when nobody's watching.
Strick and I were talking a little bit about the Colorado game just because it popped up with Dion. They're talking with the Big 12 again. Not a huge shock. But the schedule itself might not be the hardest Nebraska football schedule we've seen, but I think the difficulty in it lies in how tricky it is with where you go, who comes here, but also just the unknowns. All the change in your division. Like, you don't know about yourself, first of all, with all that change, and everyone else is changing. So even if, on paper, it's not, a top 10 strength of schedule, there's just so many moving pieces and variables that in itself is tricky.
My advice to anybody that resides in the state of Nebraska, okay, this is all the way from Scotts Bluff, which I think is pretty much
Garrett Nelson High.
That's right next to Colorado, correct?
It's up there.
It's pretty much you could spit that far to get to Colorado, to the most eastern part, let's just say Omaha, because you're northeastern. My advice to anybody that is within the state lines of Nebraska, do not worry about Colorado. You better focus 1,000% of your attention on PJ Fleck, the Minnesota Golden Gophers, and going up there on the road in a hostile environment. Whereas PJ Fleck would like nothing better than welcome Nebraska welcome Matt Rule and company to the Big Ten
with one letter,
with the W, and then try to embarrass you, and do the things that Nebraska wants to do. Get off on the right foot. Let everybody know last year, in Minnesota's case is we actually are the team that when we beat Michigan State, we were the best team in the West, and we got some injuries, so forth and so on. I think the Deion thing is taking a life of its own for no legitimate reason. I mean, it's not legit because he doesn't do the things that you like to do at another university. You can't worry about what he does. What Deion's done has worked at a place that where there's not 20 coaches that could probably go to Jackson State and do what he what he did down there or would want to. Now he's at Colorado. Yes, it's a former rivalry and stuff like that, but don't get fixated. I keep saying, do not get fixated on the personality, on the brand, because if you do that, if you're so worried that you're going to fight Deion Sanders when he was playing Clemson at Florida State and predicted he's going to take one back and does, and Deion Sanders telling everybody at the draft, hey, if you're below 1 or 2 or you ain't, I'm not going to be there, and running the 40 and running right to the airport. If you fixate on that as a player or a coach, you will go up there and get your head beat in.
Fall into his trap almost.
No, it's not even his trap. This is a personal choice. Everybody's worried about what he's done with the roster and stuff. He's not. He's just doing it differently. Like I heard Narduzzi, which I like him. He has a lot to say. He talked about Whipple, which obviously ended up being somewhat correct. But then he talked about Deion. I don't do it that way. Well, he got his starting quarterback out of the transfer portal. You did.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the cleansiness of 1 and 11, and yeah, generally you used to do it that way. But the thing that he omitted from his rebuttal to what Deion has done at Colorado is when you first start getting into this business, there was no transfer portal, and anybody that did transfer, if it was the same level, had to sit out a year. So essentially, you actually did business probably the wrong way, because then therefore he only had to recruit Austin because you're the starter, re-recruit Austin. Me and DP had to figure it out ourselves because we had nowhere to go. Versus if the transfer portal was live and kicking, I can't speak for you, Strick, but I'm going to ask you. There was always I'm going to ask you. I'm not going to assume for you, right? I'd like to assume. I know I can speak from personal experience. There was a time that I even considered transferring from Nebraska and was willing to sit out a year. What about you, Strick?
Because that's a very good point. I had thought about early on, but then it just I was built different, like you, man.
Right.
When we had dads, man, we just was built different. I was just like, look.
Oh, I know your dad. You did. The conversation started and stopped real quick.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no. I mean, I'm gonna compete and I'm gonna earn and win my stuff. And look, it ultimately prepared me for what was going to happen and trying to get to the NBA. I had to go earn it. And so the lessons that I learned from that kept me there. Now, like I said, Jay, the closest I came to leaving was not because of anything with University of Nebraska, not because of where I was playing or not us having any success. It had to do with competition internally. I was getting tired of our second team beating us, and I'm like, man, y'all cool with this? That part of me was ready to bounce. Like look, if y'all don't want to win and compete, I'm cool. I'll be happy to go and try to figure this out somewhere else. So that was probably the closest I came.
Yeah, I just think that it's just different times, and I understand it's a big game. I mean, obviously the price tag per ticket is astronomical,
crazy. I'm going up to Minnesota with you though.
Okay, I didn't know I was going. Hey, we can roll. We can take the show off the road. I'm cool with it.
Oh, it's gonna be a ticket battle royal.
Oh, I can do that.
Just having Debo over here setting the table.
Well, here's what we could do, Strip.
Hey, DP.
We could bring some cameras and just interview people. That'd be phenomenal.
Right.
As their
Right.
tailgate. Yeah. Well, you know what, Strick? I like that idea, man. You know what I'm saying? I like it. You just, dropped a little nugget right there, man.
Yeah, man.
A Stricky nugget.
Yeah, Austin will have 2 streams to run that day.
Yep.
Well, no,
I got 2 hands, 1 goose mouth.
You better have Paul.
DJ Austin. DJ chicken.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a big game. I mean, look, it's only 8 weeks. Essentially, tomorrow's June 1st. It's only 8 weeks, essentially, until it's go time. July 30th is the game, right? 30th, 31st?
August 31st.
Yeah. Well, you report in 8 weeks.
Yeah. We'll keep talking about that all summer. For Strick, I'm Austin. We got old school DP and J coming up on the other side.
You finally finished your man cave in the basement. Brand new furniture, huge TV, and all of your collector's items. You're ready for football season. You were so excited. One bad rain, and it is all ruined. Don't risk a flooded basement and countless dollars in damages when it can be avoided. Call John Henry's today for a free sump pump estimate for your home.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residents, schools, or church, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-04 or visit batstoRats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Director Sean Erickson. Call me 402-483-615 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Hey, moms and dads, bring the whole crew to a Salt Dogs baseball game and unleash the fun. Visit Haymarket Park all summer for Fireworks Fridays, Saturdays, Sunday Family Fun Days, and more. With 50 home games, even weekdays can be unforgettable. Planning an event? Make it a home run with group discounts. When you need an outing the whole family will enjoy, unleash the fun with the Salt Dogs. Call 402-474-2255 or visit saltdogs.com for tickets.
Your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free